Go. All right, I'm recording. I am Trisha, Mindful Warrior Fitness. Oh, look at that fun smile from Laura's picture. I'm going to talk about how to create quality social media content without, breaking your brain. So, the first thing I'm going to say, and you guys already know this, but all our businesses are online. That is our storefront. So if you are not posting every day and you're not staying consistent, then people will lose interest in you. That is the fact. But if you don't feel like you can post every day, that's okay. Just start with 3 to 5 days a week, but make it a consistent 3. Like if it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever it is, so people know to expect to see you. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but if you've taken a step back for a few days or something, some people will come out and be like, where are you? Even if they're not commenting, they're looking for you to post. And if you're not wanting to do it publicly, I don't know if any of you are in my virtual community, but I do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday post. Mondays are Nutrition Mondays, Wednesdays are Fitness Wednesdays, and Fridays are Ask Trisha. People don't always ask me questions, so I just make it up, and I go live, and I'm like, this is from so-and-so in Fargo. I don't know anybody there, but but people look forward to that, and even if they're not commenting, they will look forward to that. So that kind of consistency over time, I mean, we've heard it time and again. I mean, it's honestly one of the vitals is staying consistent, but your social media posting is needs to be consistent and not consistent with drama. If you've got problems, ain't nobody want to hear about them. Like you can say, like yesterday I posted about being injured, okay? Like that's one thing, but if you're like, all those bitches who hurt me in my life, like that kind of thing, nobody wants to hear about that. So anyway, but that's neither here nor there. I know this is a recording, but oh well, I curse. That's the life of a cursor. So let's go on to the next thing. So we're going to do a little activity because a lot of times it's not so much that we're not consistent, but we don't know what to post consistently. And it's like hurting our brains to know what to post about. So without a pen, real quick, and a piece of paper, and we're going to do, here, I'll even share my screen for this. But we're going to write down 5 things people always come to you for advice on. Listen, I know we're all health and fitness coaches, so people probably come for that. And those might be 2 of your things. We're going to write down 5 things people always come to you for advice on, 5 things that get you excited and make you want to read a book about it or listen to a podcast if you don't like reading or whatever. And then write down 5 words to explain you as a coach. Here, I'm just going to give you a few minutes for that. Can you guys see that? Okay. Here, I'm going to do another minute. Hi, Kirsten. Okay, when you're done or as close to done, just give me a thumbs up so I know. Laura, I muted you just because I can hear people, but I'll unmute you or you unmute yourself if you need to. Okay. So now that we've done that, anybody want to share? Because this is going to lead into the next thing that we're doing. I want to hear what people come to you for advice on. Somebody.
I wrote divorce, nutrition, exercise, kids. I only came up with 4.
All right, well, that's fine. I'd love that. You never post about divorce, although that can be a little bit of a drama, can't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one to want to post about. Well, the reason I put this here is some of you may have done this exercise before with the color wheel. Because and basically you put in all these things about you that are interesting about you besides just the health and the nutrition. But what this does is, like, you're an authority on that already, but now you want to create an authority on social media. So using these things, because if you post, you can't be posting CTAs every day. You know, people are going to get annoyed with you, and you can't. And I think it's more interesting if you're posting other things than just, you know, the health and nutrition. Although that is great too, and staying consistent with that is part of your brand. I mean, that is who you are, because even though Beachbody is the company, you are the business. So, I think keeping these in mind as we're moving into the next thing is really helpful, because what this is going to do is start giving you ideas on what to research, what to Google, all those things, even for quotes and other things that you're going to use as posts. So let's go to the next thing. Okay. So it is helpful, especially in the beginning, when you are like, I have no idea what to post on what day. And, you know, you're getting into a spot where you're doing a lot of brain damage in the mornings because you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to post. I'm just going to throw something up. And sometimes that happens, you know, sometimes you're going to throw something up, or you feel, you know, like excited about something. You're going to, or, you know, you want to be spontaneous. I know, well, Lisa isn't on this call, but I know she likes to do more spontaneous, and that is fine. Like, if that's how you like to work, then that's how you like to work. But in the beginning, it's very helpful to have a framework, just a basic one for what you're going to do. And so what I mean by that is, like, okay, on Mondays for me, people look forward to Never Miss a Monday. They like it, and I can fit anything into that. Like me, and I generally will include a selfie on a Never Miss a Monday. Because I don't put a ton of selfies in on the weekend. I'm trying to remind them of me and what I look like. And whenever I have invited someone to join a challenge group, or they always say, God, I really love your Never Miss a Mondays. And so what I do on that is, maybe it's about a workout, maybe it's about gratitude, maybe it's about never missing a chance to eat a vegetable, whatever it is, right? And then on Tuesdays, people are in the thick of their week. So that's when I'm thinking about giving recipe or nutrition tips, or like getting them to try and think about changing their behaviors. Because, and this is also a good time, I think anytime Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday even is a good time to start talking about coaching. Although I will say people are on Sunday nights aren't loving going to work, and the idea of changing their job sounds really good. So Sunday CTAs for coaching are a really good time to put up. Or on a Monday when they're like, if I have to listen to that basic bitch one more time at the computer, I'm going to lose it. And so you're like, oh, I have this great coaching opportunity where you can make money. So this is just an example, but of what I will hold myself to. Like Wednesday, I'm going to share something about myself, or, something like that. Or I don't know what I have here. Yeah, or I'm going to go live. Going live is, if you can set yourself up to going live at least once a week, that's huge. Facebook loves going live. And I will say this, I'm not sure if you've heard it yet, but Facebook's algorithm is now moving towards groups, and it's giving more favor to groups. So your private virtual communities are, if you're posting in there, that's what's going to the top of the feed. But so do lives. Lives go to the top of the feed. So, and your live doesn't have to be, mind shattering. You don't have to be changing people's lives. It can be fun. Bring your kids in it. Mine always seem to end up photobombing lives a lot. So anyway, so Thursday, maybe I'll do a workout clip. But Thursdays are a great call to action day. I try to do one CTA a week that's blatant. You'll notice, so for me, I will do CTAs in other ways. And now Tracy might say something different, but there's a couple CTAs a week that are like, join my challenge group or join this coaching opportunity is enough. I think if you do more than that, you're really going to be getting in people's faces. But I will say, check out my private virtual community, or you can do little CTAs like that. Or I would say on every post, you want people to engage. So you want to do a small CTA, like drop an emoji below for what you're going to be doing this weekend. People love to talk about themselves. Ask them what they think. So any of those Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are great for polls too. Asking people, what do you do for your exercise? What do you, that kind of thing. On Fridays, I keep it very light and funny because everybody's just ready for the weekend, and I do not think that's the best day for CTA. People are like, I'm ready to go party. I do not want to talk about my health or fitness right now. Some people might, and you never know. It seems that has always been the trend that I see. I try to keep it light and funny. And again, you don't need to do this framework, but put one together that anything could fit into it, right? Because then you always know if you want to be spontaneous, great. Then you switch something out. But when you're really struggling, you're like, oh, that's right. Thursdays, I'd love to put up a workout clip of myself. Obviously, we do that in our stories, but not everybody's watching our stories. Or you can even do the dangler of, go to my stories to check out my workout today because it just kicked my ass, So now here's the thing about a framework. It's great to have a basic one. But just like we know, morning meltdowns coming out, if there's a holiday coming up or a Beachbody rollout, you need to work yourself backwards. Don't start doing CTAs one day before it's coming out, because then you have been caught with your pants down. So just like Juliet talked about, starting to think about it, just work yourself backwards. Even if you're thinking, we often will do CTAs for our challenge groups. Well, if you do that, and honestly, some people will sign people up all along the way. But you want to be doing your CTA for your challenge group a week before it happens, because you want them to get their shakes, you want them to get all the things. So that's just something to think about for that. Okay. Any questions on that? I mean, I know I'm kind of covering a lot of basics, but I think a framework like this really helps you just kind of plug in and go. Yeah.
One thing I just want to add, you were saying about like go to my stories to see my workout or something to that effect. The other thing that I've noticed some of the bigger coaches doing that I started trying to do this week is when you do post in your feed of Instagram, like an actual post, taking that, using the arrow and putting it into your stories to say like new post below, because while there are people who don't watch the stories, there are also people that never scroll down and all they do is watch the stories. So I think it's a great like counterpoint to have them looking at both of your content.
That's a great point.
That's an interesting point.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question actually, and I mean, maybe this isn't totally related, but do we know what it is about going live that people like?
It's not even people who like it. It's the Facebook algorithm that likes it.
Okay. So it's more just to get yourself out there on Facebook. Okay.
And it just shows up in the feed more. Have you ever noticed, like, if you go in a feed, and you see something pop up, but then you had to go do something, and it caught your eye, you were interested, and you go back and you can't find it again.
Yeah.
It's buried in the feed because it's like Facebook's like, who cares? It like decides for you.
Yeah.
So Facebook loves it when you use its its features.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it will favor you if you use its features. And it also likes if you use it every day and you post consistently. My feed is almost always showing up. And another way it will show up in other people's feeds, I believe, is if you've been messaging people on Facebook and you have a conversation with them, then your feed shows up more often in their feed. Okay, so here's the biggest crux of what I have learned. For a while, I was just like, I would randomly post and I wasn't really getting anywhere, but this is what has finally helped me. So the first thing I do is I'm following influencers on Instagram and Pinterest that I like. And I'm not meaning other Beachbody coaches. I am meaning other fitness professionals, health professionals, or even lifestyle professionals, like those kinds of people who really inspire you. Like you see their feed and you're like, oh my God, that's so interesting. It gets you going, gets you thinking. And then you save those posts in Instagram. Does everybody know how to save a post in Instagram? Okay. Because you're going to want to go back to those later, because you're going to have that day where you are feeling wholly uninspired, and then you go to your saved in Instagram, and there are all these opportunities. Now, I didn't realize this, but I know in Facebook you can share someone's post. You can do the same thing in Instagram. You could share someone's post, and I don't think that, and we'll get to that in a minute, but there is absolutely no problem with sharing other people's posts because it shows that you are also an influencer and are willing to share other people's information. You do not need to be creating your own content every day. That's exhausting. So just think about how those posts fit into your framework, right? Like you saw somebody posted a great recipe and you loved it, or you love the message, but you don't want to post it the same day they did, or whatever. Just save it and then post it later. And that has saved me time and again, because sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I'm so uninspired today. And that does happen. But then when you are, just go back to the posts that you saved that inspired you, and you'll be able to work that in. So now that you're inspired, here's the 3 choices you have. You can share someone's whole post, because like I said, you're just showing that you're relevant, you're keeping up with information. And I think that that's a fantastic, it's actually, other influencers really like it, obviously, when you share their posts, but then you're getting in on their feed too. And if you start commenting on their feed, then people who are following them will start following you. I wouldn't share every day, because then it would show that you're just kind of not creating your own stuff. But when you're sharing it, you don't need to give them credit because it's already being given. But if you tag the influencer, that only helps you. I mean, it helps them too, but it helps you because people are then looking at your posts because you referred back to that influencer. So another way, and I've done this quite a bit, you can go into my feed to look at this. I use an influencer's infographic in my post. I use their picture or their infographic or whatever, but I use my own language. Do not use their language unless you are specifically referring them, because like sharing their stuff, because then it doesn't sound like you and you're plagiarizing them, and that you don't want to do that. That's but you do need to give whoever created that graphic the credit. And like I said, that only helps you. It's the right thing to do, but it also increases your followers and engagement. If you have ever seen, I love Meow Mix. It's not like the cat food, but Alana also uses her graphics a lot because she talks about portions and like she has all this great content. But anytime I use her content, I thank her for the graphic. I used a Cosmo graphic the other, Cosmopolitan, and I thanked Cosmo. That is good etiquette, but it's also, it's gonna help you. And lastly, you can make your own graphic, use your own language, and put your handle on the infographic, because then someone's gonna share that and give you the credit. So like I shared something about what sugar does to your body and like how it processes. And people were sharing that and tagging me in it. And that is awesome. Even if others don't know the etiquette of saying, you know, thanks at Mindful Warrior Fitness or whatever, my tag is still in there. My handle is in there so people know that I am the one that created that. And you should do that. That's just good advertising for you. On our team, I know like my content's your content. And just remember, even though you're doing that, still use your own words, because your own words sound like you, not, you know, like somebody else. And anytime I've used somebody else's words, it's always a flop for me because it's not me. So the thing that takes up the most time is making your own graphic. So here's what I do for that. I use Canva. I love Canva. It's free. And once you have created your own brand, like maybe you know your logo, maybe you don't have one, that's fine. But there's certain colors you use or whatever, you make that, and you can use it as a template and just throw other things in there time and time again. Like if you want to often do, like every month you want to do a call to action of like, join my health and fitness group or whatever, but you want to spice it up, change the graphic, be funny or whatever, Canva lets you use your templates. And then all you have to do is slap in a new graphic. I mean, I can always do another training on Canva. I have been using it extensively. And they have free photos. They have great stock photos. And it's changing a lot of my engagement. Because I even like today, I put up a quote. And I just used a template I had already created for a million other things. And did you have something?
Sorry, I just put it in the chat. Yes, I would really appreciate if you could do a Canva training, because it intimidates me. And I use other types of apps, but I feel like everybody's going to Canva, and I'd love to know how to use it.
Yeah, I would be happy to do it. It's super easy, and you can either use it on your phone or on your desktop, and it syncs up because it's your own account. Oh yeah, look, there's probably chat. Here we go, chatting. Oh yes. Oh, okay. Hi, Hannah. I guess I can't see everybody because I'm sharing. There's Hannah's. Okay, so yeah, we should talk more about Canva. It has changed my game. And there are so many templates on there. that you can use and just adjust to make your own. So, and it makes your feed look super professional. You know, and I will say this, like, you guys don't kill yourself doing this. Like, don't spend hours a day with this. That's not worth your time, but it is worth your time to learn something and get good at it and start getting, so that it's just like any habit, right? Once you start doing this over time, it becomes easier and easier. Okay. So, like I said, save your content and reuse it. So if there was something like, you know, we go on the fly and we're writing and we're like, that sounded good, yeah. And then you forget it and then it's gone. And that probably, like, there are days that you get amazing engagement on your posts. But then you need to look at that and keep that language, keep that graphic, reuse it. You're not going to reuse it in 2 weeks, but you are going to reuse it in 2 months. Don't forget that you're getting constantly new followers who don't know you, who haven't seen your stuff. You need to continue to reintroduce yourself to people. In fact, that is a post I will be doing next week. If anybody follows Kira, she did that. She said, a lot of you don't know who I am. I realize I probably just need to kind of sum up who I am for you. So you don't need to keep recreating the wheel. Recreate, you know, you can repurpose and reuse your content. Yeah, and
on that note, I also just want to add, that's where following some of the bigger Beachbody names will show you how to do that really well and really seamlessly. People like Ashley Smith Fitness, you know, I'm saying maybe once every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Granted, she's got a much bigger audience than we do, but she is constantly in there like, I was the school teacher. This is what I was doing. This is why. And now here I am, you know, and retelling your story. People don't see your content and people don't read your content. So they do need to be reminded of that. I think that's really important, especially for the newer coaches to understand.
I would agree. For the longest time, I was not sharing anything personal. It was just like, I do health and fitness. I am a robot. All I do is eat healthy. And people were like, it's never going to work for me. Well, yeah, of course it wasn't going to work for them because I was like making it look like, oh, it's so easy. And all I ever do is meal plan and, you know, work out. No, like for me, I found a little bit of a niche of like, even with my stories, I talk about how much I can't stand my kids because God love them, but I can't. So, or other people's for that matter. But, you know, just find that thing. And that goes back to the 5 things that people come to you for. You know, one of the things that people come to me for is to laugh. That is one of the things people come to me for. So, you know, go back to that when you're like, I have nothing to say. You absolutely do have something to say. It's just you're living with yourself. You might be bored with yourself, but the rest of us aren't. Okay, and this is one you may love or hate me for telling you, but batch it. Batch your content. If you know that you have an hour of time to do something and you're feeling incredibly creative, go and batch an entire week of posts. Because the fact of the matter is you're creating. Creativity comes in spurts. And so if you're feeling super creative, batch it. I mean, think about it this way. You do the same thing when you are creating content for your challenge groups. Like some people post ahead of time, right? Because then it's posted ahead of time and you're not struggling to think about what you're going to do. And by the way, things you put in your challenge groups, you can reuse for your social media. Just don't give away the cow with the milk, if you will, right? You want to leave little teasers. we give a lot of information to our challengers because they paid to be there, but you can give in snippets here and there. And there is no shame in repurposing half of like those challenge posts that we've done, especially the old ones, reuse them in your feed. Okay, I'm almost done here. Now, are you bored? Then so are your readers. You've got to be interesting. If you keep posting about the same bullshit and think, I'm not getting any engagement, then you got to change it up. If you would scroll past your feed, then somebody else is also. And this was something that came on a Beachbody. I think it was one of the 411 calls. And it was a kick in the pants for me because then I looked at my feed. I was like, oh my God, this is so boring. I mean, like, why would anybody, if they were going into my Instagram profile, and were start looking, I was like, oh, I don't know. Would they know to click on something here and there? Which is why I started peppering infographics between my face and my photos, and then here and there, I put my kids in. You don't have to add your kids, but you get it. You get what I'm saying. People like photos of you. They like to know who you are. People like good stories. Like, I wrote a blog post about, I made this tofu chicken noodle soup, and it did not go well in my household, as you can well imagine. I don't know why I thought that would go well, but it didn't. And it's like those kinds of stories that people want to hear, and you can write a pretty darn good story in your Instagram or go into your stories, but you, even in your feed, write a good story. People love a good story. Motivation. Nobody wants you to constantly be in their face telling them how lame they are and how great you are, but some good, well-placed motivation is awesome. A useful tip. Somebody put a tip the other day on how to clean out my washer because my washer is gross. And I had never thought about that. I liked that tip. So people love tips. And lastly, it's just consistency. If you're not getting engagement because sometimes you post and sometimes you don't, well, there's your problem. It's your consistency. So, and like I said, don't post 5 days a week if you're not ready to do that. Post 1 or 2 days a week. Try to post 3, but it's going to always be the same day so people know what to expect. And that is all I have. So, ask me your questions. I know a lot of this you probably already know, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have or, give you more ideas, or if anybody has other ideas that have been working for them.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it's just like some of us from time to time experience issues with Instagram or Facebook themselves, like you had things that weren't showing up for you. I all of a sudden, and I'm wondering if any of you are experiencing this too, my Instagram will no longer let me feed over to Facebook for my stories. And I'm having to save them manually and then repost. And because I'm doing that, nobody's looking at them on Facebook. Because, and I don't know why, but like my views went from like 40 plus people on, Facebook looking at my stories to 1. And so I don't know if anyone else is experiencing that or has, and like.
That's interesting. Well, first of all, I never post directly from Instagram to Facebook for my stories.
Okay.
But I do know this, Instagram is changing their platform. So I haven't seen that change yet, but my business coach was like, has anybody noticed yet? Do you like it? And this may be one of those changes.
I think it is, because it says that I'm linked and everything, but if I try to have a post go or a story go, it never does. And it used to all the time. I didn't even have to think about it. So that's kind of been a drag because it's taking me so much longer. But I love Thank you for that. But I actually love following you, Trisha, because you change it up so much. And these tips, like sharing them, this is really helpful for me. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, it's taken me a while. And so I'm still getting like remember what you posted last year? And I was like, that was so. It takes a while to figure out what's going to work for you. And sometimes posts bomb. Not every post is going to be great. And that's okay. There's a couple ways that you can look at this, specifically on Instagram, on what gets you the most engagement. If you go to your insights on Instagram, does everybody know how to get there? You can change. There's like different ways to see like how people are engaging with your posts. Like, you know, it'll be like most clicks or most comments, or like there's a certain way to look at all of that. Why I'm not seeing it at this moment, I don't know. But I can always put that into our Facebook page, but you will see what's resonating with your followers. Because I always thought, you know, like that the fitness stuff was really exciting to people. Not for me, it's not. Other things are more interesting to them. Turns out my kids and my husband are a big hit. They're more interesting apparent, you know, like people like to see that I'm human. Laura says, Hannah can't link either. Laura's been linking, but I know I do have to tell it to each time. I have to try that because I thought the algorithm did not like it when you linked from Instagram to Facebook. But interestingly enough, Kirsten, you're saying that your story views are going down because of it. Is there, I see, I do. Do you see the, so do you not see the icon anymore that says share in Facebook in your story, Kirsten?
I do. But it doesn't work. Even if I click it, it'll say sent. And it's like a big joke because I'm like, where did it go?
Oh, and then it just doesn't post.
Just not there. It's somewhere in the ether. I don't know where, but someone else might be getting my stories. I don't
think I have it either. Where are you seeing it?
So go to your story, like click on you, and then at the bottom, you know, say seen by, but then there's also a Facebook.
Nope. I've never had that.
I have it. And also it'll say highlights or more.
Right, I have those too.
So here's the thing. As you know, everything gets rolled out to my phone last. So my guess is they may be changing something and you're on the first rollout of that.
Okay. Oh, wait, maybe I only have it on my personal and not my business.
Oh.
Yeah, and you can switch back and forth because I don't let my posts go to Facebook for my business because I do that for my personal. And my personal one for a post actually still worked as recently as this past weekend for Memorial Day. So I don't know. It's something weird.
That's annoying. I know, it's like me with the music.
It's
so I do it all the time because I'm so excited about it. But I mean, I think it's great. I'm glad that following me helps, but yeah, follow people, get ideas from them because, you know, it's not possible to be creative at all times and at every minute. So I don't see anything wrong with repurposing content. In fact, here's another thing. If you love a recipe, but you tweaked it, that recipe's yours now. You can own that. And so like, you know, say I'm making a cocktail, but I'm like, oh no, don't do that, but I'm going to add this or whatever. That's my recipe now. You can own that. I was just doing a training about Pinterest, and one lady's like, there's no new ideas. It's just how you present it. So I'm going to stop recording now, because I think that's it. Unless people have other questions. Okay.